Hello and welcome to today's video. So for the last year or so I've been using this superb RG350 handheld from Anbernic, and I've played it to death. I've done about 30 videos on my channel devoted to it, and I have to say I absolutely love it. Never have I loved a little handheld dedicated like this so much. However, I've treated myself to the RG351M. Now this is a bit of an upgrade. Reputedly, it can handle Dreamcast and PlayStation portable games, although I think with mixed results. But we'll have a look at that. We'll unbox it. We'll see what was included on the 64GB card, the operating system, and, well, generally what our first impressions are. But I'm very much hoping that this is going to be my new daily retro gaming driver. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so for the last year or so I've been using the rather brilliant RG350. This was the original RG350. It has been out at least 12 months now. And this plastic little fella, I've had a lot of fun with this. I mean, I've just used it to death and it's fantastic. And that's definitely given me the confidence to invest in one of the new RG351M. So I'll just pop that one to one side for a moment. So box-wise, exactly what you would expect, very similar to the RG350. It's got built-in Wi-Fi on this one, a quad-core CPU, 1.5 gigahertz, includes a 64GB memory card that comes with this, a 3.5-inch 320 by 480 IPS screen, a 3,500 milliamp battery, which it says lasts up for 8 hours, and it supports a micro SD card up to 256 gigabytes, although I have heard they support up to 512. So let's lift the lid, and the normal sort of protection around this one. Let's have a quick look underneath and see what's what. So you've got the included micro USB-C charger, and the leaflet, which is in Chinese and English. Not that you need that really, it's pretty self-explanatory, this one. Slide him out of the bag. Now the first thing I have to say that I notice about this is the weight of it. Boy oh boy, it really is quite heavy, but that's not a bad thing. It feels sort of beefier in the hand, if that makes sense. Let's just give this one a try then. Oh, it like vibrated there. How long till it boots up then? What was that? Emulate, okay. It uses emulation station. Oh, there we are, and look. Who's that? That's Phoenix Wright, isn't it? Ace Attorney. Right, so that's saying Nintendo DS. Let's go through the menu here. Final Burn Neo. Well, I certainly enjoyed Final Burn Alpha on my 350. MAME. Arcade Emulator. WonderSwan Color. Capcom Play Systems. I think that's arcade games again. 1 and 2. And 3. MSX. It's Metal Gear there. PC Engine. Nintendo, that's the original NES. Game Boy, original Game Boy. SNES. Nintendo 64. The Game Boy Color. Game Boy Advance. Sega Genesis. Sega Game Gear. Sega Mega Drive. It's interesting, it's got Genesis and Mega Drive. They are, in effect, one and the same. Sega Dreamcast. Neo Geo. Neo Geo Pocket. Sony PlayStation. Sony PSP. And all games. And favourites, okay, brilliant. And what's this then? So this is, you press start and you've got your main menu. So you've got the emulate settings, game settings, controller settings, user interface settings, game collection settings, sound settings, network settings, scrape. So you can scrape box art because we are connected to Wi-Fi, updates and downloads, system settings, and quit. And it says restart emulation station, start RetroArch if you wanted to use that as a front end. There we are. Well, this is a first look, so let's just, spec-wise, let me just fire up my RG350 and we will just compare the two of them together. And then we'll have a quick look through and do a bit of gameplay. So I have heard that this UI is not that well liked, and there are better firmwares that you can have on this. So I have bought myself a little 128 gig card, a Samsung one, really cheap at the moment on Amazon. And I'm going to do a backup of this one. Then I'm going to flash a custom firmware and then load my own games up bit by bit. That is the plan anyway. So I'll do that next video. Screen-wise then, I mean, it does seem, because it's got glass in the front rather than like a plastic front, it does seem a bit sharper, I have to say. And this was using the very old Ding UI sort of front end, which was very, very awful. I mean, it was crazy, whereas this seems much more slick. So I guess the proof will be in the pudding. So let's just try a few sort of games, shall we? Final Burn Neo, so Altered Beast. Now, it's got a scroll wheel on the side here for volume, so I think that's about halfway. You've got your memory card there, and you've got two speakers left and right. Here we are, we've got a bit of sound. Shoulder buttons at the top. It has got on the go and it's got a headphone jack, but there is no HDMI out. But I don't know if I see that as a pro or a con. I mean, for a high-end tablet like this, I would have expected an HDMI out. But then again, I never used the HDMI out on my old 350. So am I going to miss it? Maybe not, you know. Let's give this one a go, shall we? Yeah. Well, I can't imagine it's going to have any sort of issue running something like the Mega Drive. Now, I use the directional keypad first of all. Let's see how we get on. That all seems fairly fine. The buttons are quite nice and stiff to press down on. They feel quite firm. But I can also, and this is easier, using the directional sticks. These are very much like you'd find on something like the Switch. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? Perfect. Let's try a different game. So this is 1942. Can't imagine it's going to have any problem running this. One of my favourites from back in the day. World War II shooting up. Oh, it's got me already. Cool. Could I be more out of practice? Yes. I'm dead already. But hey, that plays absolutely fine, and that's exactly what we would expect. Let's look at some more taxing games, shall we? This is Nintendo 64. I guess a good test will be Mario Kart, because that still doesn't run perfectly, even on some of the modern Android phones. It seems to be, you know, reasonably difficult to emulate. So we'll have a little look and see how good Mario Kart 64 plays. Okay, that doesn't seem too bad. So far, so good. One-player game. Okay, 100 cc's. This will be a good little tester anyway. So far, this is perfect. speakers are really nice and clear on this one. A little bit of stuttering there. So I would say I heard a little bit of stuttering, but not a lot. And you do seem to, that's why I chose this one, because you do seem to find that at the start of some N64 games. Oh no, I've crashed already. I'm in 6th. So very responsive. You have to use the joysticks for this one, the buttons don't work. Oh, damn. Oh, for God's sake. Anyway, as a test, this N64 one doesn't seem to run too badly. And one thing I suppose we should do while we're here is just see the games that are included. So for Nintendo DS, it doesn't tell you how many in total, but there's probably a good like 40 in Nintendo DS. Final Burn Neo, more of those, probably a good 100 or so. MAME, 100, that makes it about 150. Wonder Swan, yeah, probably another 50. Capcom, 200, 230, 260, 265, MSX, 10 of those. PC Engine, quite a bit for the PC Engine on there, 70 odd. So probably about 350 games so far. This is for the original NES. .300 NES games, so you're looking at 600, about 600 now. I'll let we just go back. There's another couple of hundred Game Boy. It's about 800. There we are. That's 1,000 games on it. N64 there wasn't many. It's just a handful. Game Boy Color. Another couple of hundred there. It's just 1,200 games. Oh, we've actually started one there, so we might as well have a quick look at this. So we're up to about 1,200 games on by the Game Boy Color. This is bowling, so I don't know if we want to bother with bowling. So that was up to the Game Boy Color. Then we've got Game Boy Advance. There's 400 Game Boy Advance games, and these play amazingly well. So we ought to just sort of have a look here. But we'll just see what's on here in total. So that's probably, what, 2,000 games. This has probably got another 100, 150, 300 Mega Drive games there. That's about 2,500. Yeah, so 2.1, 2.5. Quite a lot of PlayStation on there. They'll play absolutely fine. A few PSP games. So you're probably looking at about 2,600 games on the included memory card. That's not bad at all, is it? Let's have a quick look at a Game Boy Advance game, because they will play absolutely fine on this system. So what do we want to play? What do we want to play? Loads to go through, isn't there? It's a shame that you can't see the full game. It's just this interface, it's not great. I'm definitely going to change it for something a bit more user-friendly. Some of my favourites aren't on here, sadly. They've got X versus Sever. That's a great game. It's a bit like, it's a first-person shooter based on a sort of a failed film plot. It's quite nice, isn't it? Absolutely great game, this one. If you've never heard of X versus Sever, I remember having it at the time and loving it. Bought this one. You just have to sort of get your way through various levels. Very much Doom style. Cool. Got enough introduction screens, hasn't it? But it's still a good little way. This is an exact emulation of that original Kart. Let us wallow in that soundtrack and turn the speakers up, shall we? That's at full pelt, speaker-wise. Turn it down a little bit. Good stuff, eh? Oh. It's brilliant. Zip forward through this. We just want to get the game going. Locate the room with the laptop. Press start. Here we go. Through that door. Yes, it was. Huh. Good stuff, eh? Takes a little bit of getting used to. But I can recommend this game. It's a good one. Oh, got a nice gun there. I think we'll do that. So that's X versus Sever, and as you can see, Game Boy Advance, perfect. Right, we better have a quick look at Dreamcast and PlayStation. Well, quick look at the PlayStation. I know this is going to be fine. What have we got? What can I choose? I don't know. Driver 2. See if we can have a quick blast of that one.
Jules here. We got ourselves some action. I found our witness.
Go on then.
Get ready to make a move.
We're ready, we're ready.
Get your butt over here before he blows.
Okay, okay. Get into the car. Okay, I am. How do we get in? Alright, okay. Get to Jones's. Oh. Well, I don't know which way I'm supposed to go. But look at this. We're straight into it. Great stuff. Unfortunately, I don't really know where I'm supposed to be driving. Watch that pedestrian. Oh, damn. Oh, shoot. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I don't know what you're worried about. Well, I think that's a pretty accurate representation of Driver 2 on the PlayStation 1. Let's check out a Dreamcast and PSP game. But as I said, PlayStation always been good on these little RG devices. Absolutely fantastic. And that looks a lot of fun, that one. So we try a PSP game now. I noticed with interest it's got, it has, oops, where are we? Let's go over here, PlayStation port. It's got Hot Shots Golf. Now that's easily one of my favourite games on the PSP original. I absolutely love it. Now, for it to play perfectly as an emulation, when you do your swing, if you don't get the sound interference, then you know it's going to play all right. So we'll see how good this one works. That will be the test. It will be when you actually swing your club. That's when it, if it's going to pause, that's when it'll do it. Yeah, let's get straight to the course.
At your service.
This game is amazing. It's so addictive. I absolutely love it. Easily my favourite golf game of all, except Hot Shots Part 2 is even better. Right. So I'm going to turn the volume up. Are we going to get some sound stuttering when I swing my club? And that is amazing. I don't. That is really quite something. Usually that's where it stutters on emulation. So that's really encouraging if it can do that on the PSP. Really encouraging. Look at it, spot on. There's no delay, there's no lag. This game is going to be really playable on this. Wowee. What a good shot that was. Should we have one more go? See if I can get it in.
Go for birdie.
It's for birdie, yeah. Yeah, all the controls work. I love it. I love it. A little bit to the left there. It's flat. How many feet away is it? 27 feet. Okay. I was going to say it's not supposed to go black like that. That screen was not supposed to go black, so it just did. Whether that's just a little bug, I don't know. Yeah, it's not supposed to go black at that point. Anyway, that's still very, very playable, so I'm very pleased with that. And that just leaves the Dreamcast. Let's have a look at that. So here's the list. There's not many games included. Capcom versus, I guess, Marvel, Crazy Taxi, Dead or Alive, Sonic Adventure. Well, I've already seen some other videos playing Sonic Adventure, and it doesn't play very well. So we'll have a go at Dead or Alive, the beat 'em up, and see how we get on with that one. Because I've not seen anyone test this game yet. I have got a decent Dreamcast collection, and there's a few that I know work really well on emulation, so those will be the ones I'll be looking to install when I've put my custom firmware on here. So we'll make this the last one that we look at today. As I said, I've got a nice 64 gig card that I'm going to stick my custom firmware on, but it does feel really, really nice in the hand. The actual device is just the right sort of, for my quite big hands, the weight is perfect. Okay, yeah, so I think we're going to have some slowdown with regards to the music. Okay, that wasn't too bad. It seemed to load in all right. Oh, yeah, did you hear that? Yeah, definitely getting some sound interference. If I turn the sound down, the actual game plays okay. It's the sound is had it, and that's because the actual unit is just struggling, which is what I thought it probably would. It might get better over time. It may be better once I've got my custom firmware and I can play around with it and tweak the settings to be just how I like them. But for the time being, this is playable, but just not great with the sound. Anyway, there we are. I think you'll agree it's a great little system. Let me just hit the reset. That's easily the quickest at the moment way to just reset it back to the start. Give it another week or so once I've got my custom firmware installed, and we'll revisit this, and we'll see exactly how I've got on with it in a week's time. But until then, I'm in the UK, so I bought mine from a company called Droix, Droix, Droix in the UK, in London. And in the description down below, I have got a 5% off voucher. So if you follow the link from the description and then go ahead and order anything on their website, including this one, you get 5% off, which isn't bad. And they also do next day shipping. And don't forget, this one comes with the exact card that you're seeing in front of you, the 64GB card, which, as we've just had a look, has got maybe 3,000 games on, with lots of room to add stuff of your own. So I think, that's a really good price. It's $124.99 in the UK, and they're in stock right now. So yeah, if you want one, that's the quickest way of doing it. A similar one on Amazon is 160 quid with the same 64 gig card. So I don't believe that's anything like as much as a bargain. And with Droix, you get the added next day delivery, full guarantee. They've been around a long time, and brilliant customer service. So there you are. I think that'll do for today. Let's get that custom firmware loaded for next time. So there you go. That concludes our first look and unboxing of the rather nice RG351M. Now, I do plan to do a video on this little handheld almost once a week if I can. So the next one, I've got a 128GB card on the way, and on that one I'm going to flash a brand new firmware, and then I'll start adding my game collection to that one going forward. And then we'll look at each particular system and we'll rate it and just see how well particular games play. So look out for that in the future. If you've enjoyed today's video, do please give it a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing for regular RG351 videos coming up, and I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.